Hi, so this time is chapter 16, right? I'm gonna go over only calculation question. Question number 5. This company is Level Firm. It has 300,000 shares outstanding with a market price of $30 per share. The company has 6.6 million debt outstanding, selling at par value. Pre-tax cost of debt is 9% and the unlevered cost of capital is 12%. What is the cost of equity? Alright, if you look at the formula in the book, the cost of equity is equal to the unlevered cost of capital plus IU minus RD, where IU is unlevered cost of capital and RD is the cost of debt, times the debt equity ratio times 1 minus the tax rate. So the unlevered cost of capital is 12% right here, and the pre-tax cost of debt is 9%, so 12 minus 9 times the debt equity ratio, and that you calculate the value of debt right now is 6.6 million. Outstanding selling at par, so the market value of debt is also equal to 6.6 million. Market value of equity is number of shares, 300,000 shares times price times 32, so 9.6 million. So debt equity ratio is 6.6 over 9.6 times 1 minus tax, 1 minus 0.35. Okay, so the answer is 13.34%. Question number 6. Best Foods has an unlevered cost of capital of 12%, and the company generates earnings before interest and taxes of 6,000 per year and tax rate of 35%. What will the value of the firm be if the firm adds 20,000 of debt to its capital structure? So the unlevered value, basically it is perpetuity. So if EBIT, the company, the value unlevered would be the earning before interest and tax times 1 minus T, okay, get the cash flow after tax, over the unlevered cost of capital 12%. So the unlevered value of the firm is 6,000 times 1 minus 0.35 over 0.12 is 32,500. And when the company is borrowing, the value of the firm, or the value of the firm VL, which is the value of the firm when the firm is borrowing more debt, is equal to the value of unlevered firm VU plus the benefit of borrowing, or tax shield, the benefit of tax shield, which is the amount of borrowing times the tax rate, so which is equal to 32,500 plus 0.35 tax rate times 20,000, which is the amount of borrowing. So the new value of the firm is 39,500. Very similar for number 8. The firm has 5,000 bonds outstanding with a face value of over 1,000 each. The bond has 9% coupon and paying interest annually, currently selling for 99% of par value. What is the present value of tax shield if the tax rate is 34%? So the formula for tax shield is basically D, which is the amount of debt times the tax rate. So currently the total value of debt is 5,000 bonds times $1,000 each bond times the tax rate 34%. So it is equal to $1,700,000. Number 9. Cost of equity 14.28%. Pre-tax cost of debt is 8.1%. Debt equity ratio is 0.6. Tax rate is 34%. What is the firm unlevered cost of capital? So the same formula we have been using. Cost of equity equal to RU, the cost unlevered cost of capital, plus RU minus RD times D over E times 1 minus tax rate. So RE is 1428. RU, which is what we are looking for, RU minus 8.1, the cost of debt right here, 8.1%. Debt equity ratio 0.6, 1 minus 0.34. So you solve the equation right here, you get the unlevered cost of capital is 12.53%. Number 10. Pretty much the same formula we have been using. The cost of equity is equal to the return on assets plus return on assets minus cost of debt times debt equity ratio. So cost of equity is 12.2. Return on assets is 12.6. RE 12.6 minus RD 7.6 times debt equity ratio, and you solve the equation, you get debt equity ratio is 0.52. Okay, so pretty simple. You have a lot, you have formulas in the lecture, in the book, and just apply the formulas to the problems. So a lot of problems are very similar to each other, so I'm gonna go over only one question here. Question number 13 for problems. Calculate. Now this company has no debt but can borrow at 6.4%. The cost of capital, the weighted average cost of capital now is 10.2. Tax rate is 35%. So if the company doesn't borrow anything, the cost of capital would be equal to cost of equity. Okay. So the cost of equity is simply the same as the cost of capital for the firm if the firm doesn't borrow anything. So our cost of equity is equal to 10.2%. If the firm borrows 25%, all right, what would be the cost of equity? So now in the capital structure, 25% will be debt and 75% will be equity. So using the same formula we have been using, cost of equity equal to IU plus IU minus RD times D over E times 1 minus tax. RU, the unlevered cost of capital, we calculated before 10.2%, okay, and 10.2 minus 6.4 cost of debt times debt equity, which is 0.25 over 0.75 times 0.65, which is 1 minus tax, and cost of equity is 11.02%. If 50% debt, what will be the cost of equity? The same formula, except that debt equity ratio has changed to 50-50, which is 1. So cost of equity is 12.67%. What is the cost of capital in part B and in part C? In part B, 25% debt, 75% equity. You put in the formula for cost of capital. The weight of equity, which is 75% times cost of equity 11.02% right here. The weight of debt is 25% times pre-tax cost of debt is 6.4 times 1 minus tax, and the cost of capital is 9.31%. And very similar with 50% debt, then cost of equity is 12.67, and weight of equity 50%, weight of debt 50%, cost of debt remains the same 6.4, tax rate 0.35%, and cost of capital 8.42%. Okay, so all other questions are very similar, and you have the solution right here. Okay, any question, let me know. Thank you.